Hello guys, this is MTZ. Today I will be giving you tips to complete the newest event in WoT, Project Babylon. Before we start, I won't be going over basics of the event, I assume you already know them. First, let's talk about the abilities, as not all of them are useful. Starting from the left, Vampiric Shot for me is a meta ability. The amount of plays you can do with it is huge. It damages an area, it heals you and repairs your models. You can clear hedgehogs with it. Only downside to it is the speed that it travels. And when there is only one enemy in proximity, then you will be better off using other heals. But you need to remember, you need to hit an enemy for it to work. It won't work if you hit ground or wall near someone. Group repairs, because it's better than emergency repairs. It's more expensive, but if you heal someone on top of yourself, you get the same value in medium, and if you add another player to that, you are going on a profit. Now, energy shield and invisibility is a preference if you want to tank damage and be resistant to hedgehogs, use shield. But if you just want to avoid damage, use invisibility, because it's cheaper, but remember that it needs a second to activate. And if you will get hit in this second, you will lose this ability. For the bot abilities, I chose both stun shot and energy shot. The stun isn't worth it over heal from Vampiric Shot. Also the 300 damage isn't worth over the heal, so they are just getting outclassed. Now, controversial opinion, why I decided to put emergency repairs in a bot category. It gives you less overall value than group heal and has less utility than Vampiric Shot. If you remember that Vampiric Shot heals you for each enemy in 35 meter radius, even the boss counts for it. For the last ability, we have fast reload. It can be played on 3 vehicles, Double, Hornet and Cerberus. It's not worth picking on other vehicles, and even on the ones I chose, you don't need to take it. It is optional because of the medium price. More on this in specific vehicle chapters. Next on our list are vehicles in mode, all of which are good. If someone tells you otherwise, he's wrong. He said something that is not factual. That being said, let's start with my least favorite tank, Malachite. Ironically, that's the first tank I won Nightmare difficulty in. It's a fast medium tank with quite nice 320 alpha damage, but that's about it. The reload is so long, so you will struggle with hedgehogs, and 320 alpha is not enough to one-shot rabbits, unless you get a high roll. It is also light, so without turbo, you can only ram light tanks. Even with turbo, I don't recommend ramming Heavies and E50s. And remember that you have awful gun depression on top of that. Your job is to stay close to your teammates and provide fire support. If you want a better medium tank, choose Cerberus. It has less alpha, about 240 I think, but it has a much better reload speed. You won't get overwhelmed by hedgehogs so easily. And you still need 2 shots for rabbits, but you will do it faster. It also has much better gun depression, so it's easier to play with it. On top of that, you are much heavier. With turbo, you can ram anything, and without it, you can still ram everything except heavy tanks, but don't go into middle of enemy camps. Try ramming someone that is further away from the group, and you should be okay. In a game, you do exactly the same job as Malachite, but you can also ram enemies. And if you want to use fast reload, find a spot that you can see 2 enemies, and then use it. Keep in mind, you don't want to be in place that you can get focused by more enemies than it is necessary. For the heavy tanks, you have 2 really good options, Lege Farata and Double. Both play almost identically with a little difference. Both of them want to ram someone as soon as they can, but the difference is what they are doing while ramming someone. In a Double, you want to unload your 2 shells into one tank, then ram another, and try using the leftover speed to ram another tank. On a Lege Farata, you want to shoot a tank that you are ramming, but only once. You need to remember to use this tank like a single shooter. You only want to empty your clip once you know there won't be more enemies. Both of the heavy tanks have good frontal armor, they are slow and have enough of alpha damage. The reason for Double to use fast reloads is for him to not be defenseless by the time you ram someone, but then you can just use shield or invisibility. You may ask, why not use fast reload on Legio? And that's because of the time between shells. You're better off making successful ram than unloading a clip. For the light tanks, let's start with Hornet. It is fast, it has 5 shell clip, it has no armor and a band gun depression, as well as gun elevation. It's great at dealing with hedgehogs and rabbits. It's phenomenal at boss phase. When the wind comes, you want to keep your distance and either clip one vehicle 4 times, then shoot one shell at another tank, but if you can't destroy someone in 4 shots, then spread damage between tanks to get more medium. Unless you are full or almost full, then just clip a singular tank. Also remember that you can't ram anything, except rabbits and lost grenadiers if you have turbo. The Grenadier has 2 shells in the magazine, but you only want to use one. Think of it as a backup shell for last enemy or when you are about to die. Unlike Hornet, you don't want to keep your distance, you need to stay close and shoot at the back of the enemies, unless they have a flat side armor that you can shoot. For example, Pershing has tracks through almost whole side and they will eat most of the damage. But Legio on the other hand has a flat spot which you can exploit. You want to stay close to your heavies that ram enemies and focus full HP tanks. Also keep in mind that your HE shells can damage multiple hedgehogs in a few meter range. Now for the boss fight. There aren't many tips I can tell you. Stay close to rocks and try sniping at the weak point. Always focus minions and beware when they spawn because there are hedgehogs coming. I suggest shooting the alpha hedgehog and then shooting vampiric shot at one of the smaller ones because they are tend to spawn close to each other. Keep your turbo for running away from cover to cover unless you have some priority target like a Hornet or a Trapper, maybe some Cerberus if you are alone and no one can help you. Only thing I can tell you about this mode is to take something with armor and good gun. T28, VK101P, Kilana, even something like Ferdinand, AT-15, Caernarvon, T-32, KV-4, Obsidian, they will work just fine. Just remember to take good abilities. I recommend going with 3 heals, that's what I was using. The main thing is to take good position. I've seen 3 popular choices: houses in the bottom right corner, the balcony, and near pipes at the top right corner. Always go to the top right corner as it gives you most protection while giving you easy access to collect Miriam and escape from trappers at wave 4 and 5.